Hey, good evening. This is a response video to a question placed by Morality Without Addiction on my video on Natalism. And his question is essentially, what is the best, in my opinion, the best argument for pronatalism, the best moral argument? And this is intimately intertwined with the Fermi Paradox, which, for anyone unaware, is why haven't we seen aliens? We think that there's aliens out there, but yet they're not knocking on our front door. They're not swinging by DC that we know of. Where are they? Where are the aliens? That's the Fermi Paradox. And there's a lot of answers to the Fermi Paradox. I highly recommend checking out John Michael Gautier and Event Horizon on YouTube for some excellent videos on the Fermi Paradox. I've been watching them for years. One of the possibilities of the Fermi Paradox is that we are alone in all of the known universe. All of it. We might be the only intelligent life. It seems statistically improbable, but there's so many variables in the ability for there to be an intelligent, intergalactic civilization. We can't solve it. We don't know the answer. All the smartest people in the world, some of the smartest people in the world are the people who asked this question and made, Fermi is the guy who asked this question at Los Alamos to a bunch of very intelligent people, and they still haven't figured out the answer, so it's a real question. And the reality is that we could be alone. Another answer, there's a lot of different solution theories for the Fermi Paradox. They're all considered to be like a civilizational filter of sorts. That, for example, that civilizations that get powerful enough to be able to go intergalactic end up fighting amongst each other and killing each other off and making them, knocking themselves back to the Stone Age, or killing themselves off in a nuclear war. There's all these different filters that can happen, and filters that we haven't even thought of. And there's a good chance that there maybe there is intelligent life on the other side of the Milky Way, or in completely on the other side of the known universe, billions and billions of light years away. And it might just be too hard or expensive or pointless to try to travel all the way across the Milky Way or all across the known universe. There might be a couple of intelligent civilizations that we'll never meet because intergalactic travel is a Beastie Boys song, but not a human reality. And it might not be possible, or or just not feasible, not reasonable. If either of those are the solution, or the roundabout solution to the Fermi Paradox, who are we to say, let's extinguish life, intelligent life on Earth? Like, how obscene would it be to be the only intelligent creature ever, the entire planetary universe, trillions of stars, and we could be the only ones, or we could be the only ones that are ever in our region of space. And that's a real possibility. Certainly in the civilizational lifetime of humans, because eventually our humanity will end. Earth will end, whether something happens with the sun, and it goes supernova and collapses into a black hole or whatever. Like, eventually humans are going to end unless we become a space-based civilization. And, the way that depopulation is happening all across the world, particularly amongst peoples with high levels of education, stable societies, enough money and free time and intelligence to put people in space. Their populations are imploding, all of them. We're not far away from a point where we won't be able to colonize Wyoming, let alone have people to send to Mars. Never mind go intergalactic. And who are we to be the ones, humans have lived on Earth for how long? And we're just going to decide, as good as we have it, as much knowledge as we have, as much hedonistic pleasures available to us, and we're just going to be like, nah, we don't need people. I find that deeply immoral. I find it deeply immoral. I find it deeply immoral of God and other human beings. There's no excuse to not have babies. This little pale blue dot might be everything. This might be the only important planet in the entire universe, our entire everything. And to not try to be fruitful and multiply, at some point, I would like to think that humanity will figure out how to not destroy Earth for human living conditions. But I would also think that eventually humans are going to want to travel to Mars, set up a base on the moon. Heaven forbid, maybe send people out of the galaxy. Certainly out of our solar system. Go check out Alpha Centauri maybe one day. I'd like to think we're going to do that, but if nobody wants to have babies because we can't elect a decent government in the Western world, and then people do everything they can to kill off the babies that we do produce, or make it so nobody can afford to have them. I mean, just how demonic is that? It's really it's just evil. And I'm not saying that you're evil. I respect and understand. I mean, I don't have children, right? I'm not saying that people who don't have children are evil. I'm not saying people who don't want to have children are evil. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a society on the whole that works to kill as many babies as possible, who doesn't do everything they can for the children that they do have, and that does everything they can to prevent people from being able to have children, is an evil society. It really is. There's just nothing. I don't see how you can argue against that. And I'm certainly, like I said, I don't have kids. I don't expect to have anytime soon. I don't plan on going on another date, let alone getting married and having kids. And so I'm hardly someone to judge other people for the not having kids. But on the whole, I think I don't find it to be a moral positive. I find it to be a moral failing in my personal sense. For me, I feel like it's a moral failing of my life. I've had a few of them, and that's one of the bigger ones. I think the most important thing in this world is having kids. For most people. Not everybody's built for it. Not everybody deserves them. And I certainly don't think, if you're living on UN food aid in sub-Saharan Africa, I don't think you should probably be having kids. Hell, if you're living in St. Louis living off food aid, you probably shouldn't be having kids. But for those who can, I think it's the right thing to do. We might be all there is. We might find like amoebas and viruses here and there, but there might not be anything else out there like us. And we have a responsibility to continue on the human race and try to keep a good level of genetic options, all the different DNA possibilities need to stay in humanity's gene pool. There's certainly some people that wouldn't be missed from the gene pool, but most people, we need to keep things going. I hope this answered your question. I appreciate the question. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you very much. God bless everybody. Be well.